Hello everyone, welcome you to this class on Business English. I'm Selena James, and in this semester we shall be dealing with Module 1 of the Business English text. So, what exactly is Business English? Business English, as we have seen in the introductory video, is a part of English for specific purposes. Now, many non-native English speakers study this business English with a goal of doing business with English-speaking countries or with companies located outside the English-speaking world, but which nonetheless use English as the shared language or lingua franca. So, if you look at the English communication that takes place in the business world today, you see that most of the communication happens between non-native speakers of English. Hence, it is very important that people can speak English efficiently as well as effectively. And there lies the importance of learning business English. Now, business English means different things for different people. For some people, they are interested in focusing on vocabulary and topics used in the worlds of business, trade, finance, and international relations. For others, it refers to the communication skills used in the workplace and focuses on the language and skills needed for typical business communication, such as presentations, meetings, small talk, correspondence, report writing, etc. With this, let us now talk about transactional writing. What exactly is this transactional writing? Transactional writing is the non-fiction writing that is intended to communicate information between individuals, or it can also be between groups. So it is a non-fiction writing in the sense it is the writing that takes place in the real world. Okay, so it is not just imaginative writing, yeah, not like the imaginative writing that you see in novels or short stories. It is a writing that takes place in the real world of communication. So transaction text can include letters, it can include emails, it can also include speeches. Now, there are different types of non-fiction writing, or there are different types of transactional writings. Okay, and all these different types of texts have their own conventions. So, if you talk about conventions, they include the structure, the language, as well as the tone. Okay, for example, let us take a newspaper article. It will have its own structure. If you imagine the newspaper article that you have read today, you will remember that it will have a headline, it will have an introductory paragraph, it will have the subsequent paragraphs, and then there will be a conclusion. What about the language used? It will be a very formal language that will be used, and the tone will also be quite serious. Okay, so quite unlike the writing that that you do to your friend, where the tone will be quite friendly, where you use informal language, as well as the structure of it also will be quite different. So the letter that you write to a friend will be very different from an article that you write for a newspaper. So each transactional writing will have its own structure, language, as well as tone. Now let's take the case of a political speech. Okay, an article. A political speech, for instance, and you see that there the speaker will be addressing the audience directly, and the language will also be quite persuasive in the sense language that can influence the audience, as well as it will have a rousing tone, rousing in the sense something that can raise the spirit of the audience. So that will be the tone. So every writing will have its own structure. That is what I intend to say. Now, when you undertake a writing task, it is very important to consider the convention or the form. So, depending upon the task that is before you, the convention or the form will also change. For example, if it is an official letter that you're going to write, you will have to write the from address, you'll have to write the date, then it will be the to address, and so on. But if it is a report writing that you have to undertake, then it will be the heading, and then you will start with the report directly. So every writing task will have its own structure, its own convention. And another important thing that to be kept in mind is your intended audience. You should know to whom you are writing. Is it for a particular person that you are writing? For example, if it is an official letter, you might be writing to one particular person. But then, if it is a newspaper article, then it is meant to be read by a large community. So your audience will also decide your style of writing. Another decisive factor in your writing will be the purpose. Your purpose will decide your style of writing. Suppose if it is to entertain your readers, then you will be adopting a very informal style. Suppose if it is to give information to your audience, it will assume a more serious tone of writing. So the purpose of writing can also determine your style of writing. So your convention, your audience, the purpose of writing, all these are very important when you before you undertake the writing task before you. Now let's talk about business letters. So, what exactly do you mean by business letters? So, it is a letter from one company to another, or between one organization to its customers, its clients, or some external parties outside the company. Now, the style of the letter will depend more or less between the relation between the parties. Okay, now the type of content usually seen in business letters include business letters are usually written in order to request direct information from another party, or it is to order supplies from a supplier. It can also be it can also be written in order to reply to a request or to apologize for a wrong done by the company. So in any of these contexts, business letters can be written, and business letters are considered to be written records, and therefore they are considered business letters are very serious letters, okay, because that will be a written record unlike any other form of communication. Now, I have provided here two models of business letters, and you can read these two letters and decide which of the models is the better. Now, I have included only the body of the letter here so that you can understand the style of writing that is followed by the writer. So here is a letter by Infotech Technologies Limited, and it says, "Dear Mr. So and so, this refers to your application and the subsequent interviews you had with us. We are pleased to appoint you as trainee executive. You will be based at Cochin, effective from 2nd May 2020, on the following terms and conditions: stipend, conveyance reimbursement, etc." So the letter goes on. So I have included only the relevant points here. So you see, the person who has penned this letter has included the terms and conditions as well in the letter. Now let us check another model that is given. This is by the generic mottos. The body of the letter goes like this: Dear Mr. So and so, congratulations. Welcome to the Generic Motors family. We are impressed with your performance at the interview rounds. We are happy to offer you the post of trainee executive at Kakanad effective from 2nd May 2020. I have attached a copy of the standard terms and conditions governing the offer. You will find an exciting set of people to work at Generic Motors. So, which one do you think is the best? So, I'm sure you might have been quite impressed with the letter sent by the Generic Motors. Why? Because if you were to receive the letter, you will understand that the company, Generic Motors, shares your excitement over receiving the job offer. How does it start with? Congratulations. That is how it starts, isn't it? It is not a very plain tone that is adopted, unlike the letter that was given by the Infotech technologies. So this there is a sense of warmth, there is a sense of excitement in the letter, which will draw you, that will bind you with the company, isn't it? There is an instant connection through the letter. So that is the difference in these two letters. It highlights your achievement. If you remember, or if you go back to the previous slide, you can see we are impressed with your performance at the interview rounds. That is what it says. We are impressed with your performance at the interview rounds. So it is trying to highlight your achievement. Again, it tries to make you comfortable. Generic Motors understand it understands that you might be a bit uncomfortable being with a new set of people in a new set of environment. Therefore, it says you will find an exciting set of people to work at Generic Motors. So that shows the kind of concern that the company has for you. And then terms and conditions are presented on a separate page, and that makes the letter less intimidating in the sense less frightening or threatening. Let's go back and see. Yes, this is what the letter says. I have attached a copy of the standard terms and conditions governing the offer. I have attached a copy which says that it is not in the body of the letter. But if you remember the first letter, there the terms and conditions were specified in the body of the letter itself, and that makes it a very formal kind of letter, something that makes you a bit frightening, if that is the right word to use there. Okay, so those were the differences in the two letters.